Hello dear listeners, welcome to History for Sleep. Tonight, let your mind drift back nearly 2,000 years, to a bustling city that had no idea its final dawn was approaching. Before ash turned its streets silent, before time froze its people in their last moments, Pompeii was alive, vibrant, joyful. A world filled with laughter from taverns, the steam of busy bathhouses, the rhythm of craftsmen at work, and the soft glow of lamps lighting evening streets. It was a city full of stories, stories that never expected an ending. In this calm journey, we're not stepping into tragedy. We're stepping into life. So take a slow breath, settle into a comfortable position, and allow yourself to wander through Pompeii as it truly was, warm, human, and beautifully alive, on the day before the world changed forever. Welcome to the lost city of Pompeii, life before the eruption. Welcome, my friend, settle in, let the weight of the day roll gently off your shoulders. You're safe now, in this quiet moment meant only for rest. As you soften into your pillow, imagine a warm dusk settling around you, the kind that asks for nothing except your presence. Let your eyes grow heavy, knowing that the world can wait a while. Tonight, we embark on a gentle journey, not forward, but backward, slipping into the folds of ancient time where the lost city of Pompeii still lives and breathes. Before we begin, allow your breath to become a slow companion. In, as if drawing in soft lamplight, and out, melting into the calm darkness around you. Again, slowly. Let each inhale loosen the mind, and each exhale smooth the body. The past will meet us soon, but there is no rush, for history waits patiently. As I guide you, think of me as a quiet historian wandering sleepless through forgotten corridors, carrying only stories to light your way. And tonight, those stories will be gentle enough to cradle you into dreams. Let the air settle around you, warm and still. Let the silence become a soft blanket. We begin not with events or dates, but with a breath. The kind that unravels tension thread by thread, until your entire being feels as soft and ancient as the history we are about to explore. Now, breathe with me once more, deeply, softly, like a feather drifting through a marble hull. Feel the rise and fall of your chest as the rhythm begins to soothe you. With each slow inhalation, imagine stepping further away from your waking world, your thoughts dimming like lamps in distant windows. Your mind is a museum after hours, quiet corridors, cool stone floors, dust undisturbed. I will walk with you there, lantern in hand, illuminating only what comforts you. Tonight, we wander to a place held in amber by time itself, Pompeii before the eruption, alive with vibrant voices and warm sunlit streets. But before we arrive, you must allow your breath to anchor you. Let your inhale fill the space beneath your ribs, gentle and unhurried. Let your exhale sigh out, as though releasing a story you no longer need to carry. The more you breathe, the more your thoughts settle, like grains of volcanic ash drifting to the ground, silent, weightless, letting the world grow still. The edges of your awareness begin to soften, as though wrapped in linen. Let go, just a little more. We are preparing your mind like a quiet stage before the curtain rises. The city waits in the distance, but you, here in the present, need only rest and breathe. Time will open its doors when you are ready. As your breath becomes smoother, imagine yourself standing at the threshold of sleep, where the air feels tinged with ancient warmth. Picture a soft breeze stirring faint echoes of forgotten stories, inviting you to step closer. You're not rushing toward anything, you're drifting, the way smoke curls lazily from a lantern flame. Each breath deepens your calm, grounding you like cool earth beneath bare feet. Let the weight of your limbs grow heavier, sinking into the softness that supports you. With every exhale, imagine small tensions dissolving, first from your jaw, then your shoulders, then the quiet muscles along your spine. There is nothing to hold up now, nothing to perform. Only being. The night around you has grown quieter still, the kind of silence that feels ancient, like the hush that settles over old ruins just after twilight. And in this silence, I begin to whisper the first threads of our tale, not loudly, for history doesn't always need volume to be heard. It needs only a willing listener, half awake, half dreaming. The world of Pompeii lies just beyond a veil of time, shimmering faintly. The taverns, the gardens, the narrow alleys, all waiting to be revealed. But for now, stay here in this cocoon of breath and warmth. The journey is long, and the first step is simply rest. And now, my friend, with your breath steady and your body settling into its own quiet rhythm, feel a gentle curiosity stir within you, not urgent, not bright, just soft and warm like candlelight behind a curtain. You are ready to approach the gates of the past. Imagine a slow glow spreading across your thoughts, illuminating an ancient landscape still untouched by fate. Mount Vesuvius rests peacefully on the horizon, unaware of the centuries it will one day shape. The air is scented with distant fires, warm bread, crushed herbs, and the faint perfume of sun-warmed stone. You are floating toward it, carried by calm breath and quiet wonder. Tonight, you do not simply hear history, you drift through it, as though sleep itself has opened a doorway. Let your mind wander freely, unbound by the weight of knowledge or detail. Let the story settle into you like a lullaby whispered through time. This is the introduction not of facts, but of feeling, a gentle invitation to dream within the past. Know that with each breath, you move deeper into calm, further from the noise of the present world. Ahead lies the heartbeat of a city moments before eternity changed it, a place captured forever in the stillness of memory. But for now, you are resting, breathing, preparing. We begin our descent into Pompeii with a slow, serene step, and the quiet promise of sleep guiding us onward. Imagine now, as your breath stays slow and gentle, that the veil of night begins to thin. You find yourself standing at the edge of ancient Pompeii as dawn stirs softly over the horizon. The sky is still cool and pale, a delicate watercolor wash of lavender, rose, and faint gold. The city rests beneath it like a sleeping creature, peaceful and unaware of the centuries yet to come. The first rays of sunlight slip quietly between tiled rooftops, gliding over curved archways and stone-paved streets worn smooth by countless footsteps. In this early hour, everything feels suspended in a serene stillness, no chatter, no carts, no market calls. Only the whisper of morning air drifting through narrow alleyways. You can almost feel the warmth of the awakening sun brushing your skin, gentle as a hand smoothing a blanket. The buildings around you hold their breath, shadows long and soft, stretching like waking limbs. Everywhere, the silence is tender and welcoming, wrapping you in the comfort of a world just beginning to open its eyes. And as the light grows, your mind grows lighter with it, drifting in the delicate hush of an ancient morning that has waited patiently for you to return. Walk with me now through these quiet streets as dawn deepens. The stones beneath your feet are cool and familiar, shaped by time, carrying the faint echo of lives once lived here. A gentle breeze moves through the open forum, brushing the edges of abandoned stalls and stirring faint traces of herbs, dust, and earth. The air feels crisp, carrying with it the distant scent of the sea, briny, cool, and soothing. Mount Vesuvius looms softly in the distance, not menacing, but calm and drowsy in the early light. Its slopes are draped in a thin morning mist, blurring edges the same way dreams blur memories. As you walk, the quiet city begins to reveal its textures, the soft glimmer of mosaic tiles half hidden in shadow, the gentle curves of terracotta pots resting outside doorways. The faint sparkle of dew still clinging to garden vines. Nothing rushes here. The city wakes slowly, inviting you to match its pace. Even the birds, perched on worn rooftops, begin their morning songs in soft, hesitant notes, little whispers of life returning. You move with ease, your steps unhurried, your mind unburdened. The world around you is ancient, yet welcoming, a serene cradle of history unfolding in gentle breaths. As the sun climbs a little higher, the soft golden light stretches through the open courtyards of Pompeian homes. You pause beside one, looking in through a doorway where a vine-covered atrium surrounds a small, serene pool. Ripples shimmer across its surface as the light catches it, creating patterns that dance quietly along the walls. These walls are painted in faded reds and ochres, telling stories in delicate strokes, gods, heroes, fruits, birds, and garlands that once delighted the families who lived here. But in this early hour, the paintings look almost alive, warmed by sunlight and softened by shadow. The gentle trickle of water echoes from a distant fountain, steady and soothing, like the heartbeat of the city itself. A sleeping cat stretches in a sliver of light near a doorstep, its slow movements blending with the calm rhythm of the morning. You notice the soft rustle of linen curtains as a breeze slips through open windows, carrying with it the scent of fresh bread rising somewhere deeper in the neighborhood. It is a quiet symphony of small, tender moments. You stand still, letting the scene wash over you like a warm tide. In this peaceful dawn, Pompeii feels eternal, untouched, whole, and intimately alive. Now, as you continue wandering through these early streets, you feel yourself drifting deeper into the tranquility of the scene. The sunlight has fully blossomed now, casting a golden glow that settles over domes, columns, and tiled rooftops like a soft blanket. Yet the calm remains. Only a few figures appear, an older man sweeping his doorstep in slow, rhythmic strokes, a baker setting loaves outside to cool beneath a woven cloth, a pair of children still sleepy-eyed, carrying water from a public fountain. Their movements are gentle, unhurried, as though the dawn itself encourages softness. The distant murmur of waves beyond the city walls adds another layer of calm, blending with the fragrance of warm stone and blooming flowers. Everything around you feels peaceful, grounded, and deeply human. You sense the heartbeat of this ancient city, steady and warm, like a memory long forgotten yet instantly familiar. And as you stand there, watching the quiet life of Pompeii unfold beneath the morning sun, you feel yourself sinking even more deeply into rest. The world is slow, gentle, and welcoming. You are not observing history. Now that the dawn has gently unfolded its golden layers, let us wander together toward the heart of Pompeii, its market streets, where daily life begins to stir like a soft whisper. As you step forward, the stone beneath your feet grows warmer, carrying the memory of countless footsteps that once shaped these pathways. The air feels alive but still unhurried, as though time here is content to stretch lazily beneath the sun. You move past narrow alleyways that feed into broader roads lined with storefronts, their wooden shutters creaking open one by one. The quiet murmur of early voices drifts through the air, soft and distant, like echoes from another dream. A vendor sets out baskets of figs and pomegranates, each fruit glowing gently in the new light. Another arranges terracotta bowls with practiced hands, their surfaces smooth and cool. The scent of fresh bread escapes from a small bakery, warm and sweet, mingling with the faint aroma of herbs hung to dry along the walls. You walk slowly, noticing everything yet expecting nothing, letting the city reveal itself to you as softly as a memory returning. In this peaceful hour, even the market streets, usually vibrant, bustling, bright, feel like a lullaby humming beneath the surface of time. And as you breathe in, calm and steady, you become part of this ancient morning rhythm. The market becomes livelier, but in a gentle, comforting way. There is no rush, no chaos, only the steady pulse of a city waking with soft intention. Sunlight filters through awnings of woven cloth, casting shifting patterns on the cobblestones. You pass a stand where garlands of garlic and rosemary hang, their fragrance drifting toward you like an invitation to linger. A soft-spoken woman lays out jars of honey, each one catching the light like tiny amber worlds. Nearby, a pottery maker arranges his wares, amphorae, cups, small figurines shaped with careful hands. His movements are slow and deliberate, as though he knows there is no need to hurry. Merchants greet one another with nods and warm smiles, their voices low and rhythmic, blending into a soothing murmur that makes the air feel even softer. You hear the clink of bronze coins, the gentle slosh of water being poured into clay cups, the quiet laughter of a child tugging at her mother's tunic. Every sound feels softened by time, wrapped in the warm embrace of dawn. As you stroll through this living tapestry, your mind drifts deeper into ease. You are walking not through a marketplace, but through the heartbeat of Pompeii itself, a slow, steady rhythm that invites you to rest within its ancient pulse. There is comfort here, woven into every basket, every voice, every touch of sunlight. As you continue, the marketplace opens into the bustling forum, though even here the bustle remains gentle in the soft morning light. Columns stand tall, their shadows long and graceful across the square. The steps of the temples are still cool, and a pair of priests walk slowly, their robes brushing lightly against the stone. Beyond them, the fruit sellers arrange colorful pyramids, grapes, olives, apples, each placed with thoughtful care. A fisherman, returning early from the coast, lays out his morning catch, and even the sea-scented air feels softened by the calm of dawn. A harpist sits near a fountain, plucking quiet notes that shimmer faintly in the air like ripples across water. Her melody blends with the trickle of the fountain, creating a soothing harmony that settles into your chest. A baker arrives with trays of warm pastries, steam curling upward like tiny clouds drifting into the morning sky. People begin to gather, speaking in low voices, exchanging greetings, trading smiles. And though this is a place of movement, of commerce, of community, there is something serene about seeing it at this hour, before the sun is high, before the noise rises, before the day grows busy. It feels like stepping into the city's dream, a gentle, lingering vision of life, unfolding in its purest form. You walk slowly, breathing in the calm, allowing it to settle into your bones. Now, as the streets grow brighter but your mind remains soft and slow, you find yourself wandering deeper into the market's inner paths. Here the shops become more intimate, small bakeries with open hearths, tiny workshops where artisans polish bronze tools, quiet taverns still empty from the night before. In one doorway, a young man sweeps his threshold, each stroke of the broom steady and rhythmic, like a metronome guiding the morning forward. In another, a woman kneads dough with gentle, practiced motions, her sleeves rolled back, her expression peaceful. You notice the patterns painted on the walls, reds, yellows, blues, faded but beautiful, holding stories of gods, families, and long-ago celebrations. A small cart creaks past you, pulled by an old donkey whose bells chime softly with each step, a delicate sound that mingles with the warmth of the sun. And as you take all of this in, the colors, the scents, the textures, the quiet hum of ancient life. You feel your breath deepen again, slow and steady. This city, with all its movement and morning energy, somehow invites rest rather than haste. You feel it welcoming you, holding space for your presence as though you've always belonged here, strolling its streets in the first light of day. The market fades gently around you now, not disappearing, but softening, becoming part of the dream you are slipping into. And with each step, your body sinks further into calm, guided by the quiet life of Pompeii. As we drift away from the gentle murmur of the marketplace, the streets narrow into quieter walkways, lined with homes that hold centuries of whispered stories. We pause before a modest doorway framed by warm terracotta walls, their colors softened by time. The threshold invites you, not with grandeur, but with the familiar warmth of lived life echoing through its halls. Step with me inside, where the air feels cooler and carries the scent of clay, olive oil, and freshly swept floors. Light spills softly from the open roof above the atrium, the compluvium, casting a serene glow onto the still pool at its center. Water rests there like a sleeping mirror, hardly stirring as faint sunlight caresses its surface. The gentle hush inside feels like entering the mind of the city itself, quiet, thoughtful, unhurried. Walls painted in faded reds and golds embrace the room, their colors dimmed but still carrying the stories of hands that once brushed them with care. Every corner feels tender, welcoming, as though the house has been waiting for you. The air holds a stillness that slows your breathing, wraps around your shoulders, and reassures your tired mind. Here, in this peaceful home untouched by the coming day's noise, you feel time stretch and settle, like soft linen laid out to dry under a gentle sun. Walk a little further with me, your feet silent on the smooth stone floors. The murals on the walls depict scenes of gardens, mythic figures, birds perched near fountains, moments chosen to comfort the family who once lived here, reminders of beauty even when the world outside became busy. Their colors have mellowed through the ages, but their presence is soothing, like memories that refuse to fade completely. We move toward the center of the atrium, where a single column supports the upper frame of the roof. You can hear the faint drip of water in the basin below, rhythmic and gentle, the sound of a home breathing. A small shrine sits in a recessed niche. Narration, where flickering oil lamps once cast trembling shadows against the walls in the evenings. Even now, in the quiet of this imagined dawn, the shrine seems to glow with the echo of past devotion. You can almost feel the warmth of old prayers lingering in the air. Nearby, a hallway branches into private rooms where soft curtains hang instead of doors. The fabric shifts slightly with the passing breeze, creating movements so delicate they barely exist. Everything in this home feels softened, not just by time, but by the tenderness with which it was once lived in. You sense the faintest hum of domestic life, laughter, footsteps, whispered plans, now quiet, resting, preserved in memory and dream. Let us step into one of the smaller rooms, a bedroom with a low bed resting against the wall. The woven mattress looks modest but inviting, covered with dyed fabrics whose once bright hues now appear gentle and subdued. A small wooden chest sits at the foot of the bed, carved with simple patterns, as though its owner cherished practicality as much as beauty. A clay lamp rests on a short table nearby, its soot-darkened rim telling the story of countless nights spent reading, mending, or sharing quiet conversations. The room feels like a sanctuary within a sanctuary, still, calm, and intimately human. You can almost picture someone gently closing the shutters after a long day, letting the last slivers of sunlight fade into warm darkness. In this soft light, you can imagine the rustle of linen garments being folded, the comforting creak of the bed as someone settles in for the night, the steady sound of breathing filling the room. Even now, the air holds a sleepy warmth, as though the walls themselves remember the peaceful rhythm of their inhabitants. As you stand there, it becomes easy to slip into that same tranquility, to feel your own breath sinking with the steady cadence of ancient rest. The room feels like a whisper meant just for you, inviting you to slow down, to allow your thoughts to drift like dust motes in the golden glow. When we step back toward the atrium, the morning light has grown stronger, painting gentle shapes on the floor. Another doorway leads into the small kitchen, where a clay oven rests quietly, its surface worn smooth by years of meals prepared with care. A few earthenware pots hang from hooks, their muted colors blending harmoniously with the warm tones of the walls. You can almost sense the comforting rituals of daily life, bread dough rising beneath a cloth, herbs being crushed with a mortar, laughter shared while meals simmered. The home feels like a living embrace, holding within it the softness of ordinary moments that once filled these spaces, quiet mornings, lingering evenings, hands that worked and hands that rested. Every object seems settled in its place, unhurried, patient, as though time in this house stretches gently rather than marches forward. As we slowly move toward the doorway that leads back outside, you feel a growing calm as deep and steady as the home itself. Standing once more at the threshold, you look back at the peaceful rooms, the shimmering pool, the soft murals, and it all feels like a memory made just for your resting mind. You carry the tranquility of this Pompeian home with you, like a warm breeze cradling your thoughts. As we step out into the quiet street once again, your breath steadies, your shoulders loosen, and you feel yourself drifting even deeper into a restful, ancient calm. The journey continues, and you are ready to dream your way further. As the soft glow of evening lanterns begins to shimmer along the stone corridors of the Roman bathhouse, you step into a world designed not for haste, but for the slow unraveling of the day's weight. The hum of quiet conversations drifts through the warm air, nothing sharp or demanding, just a gentle murmur like the low tide brushing ashore. Roman baths were not mere places to wash the body, they were sanctuaries where people dissolved their exhaustion, layer by layer, in water warmed by great furnaces that crackled deep beneath the floors. You pass into the apoditerium, the changing room, laying aside the dust of the streets, the worries, the unspoken heaviness that comes with living in a bustling ancient city. Slipping into a smooth, warm pool of the tepidarium, you feel the world exhale around you. The heat doesn't rush, it wraps slowly, like a heavy blanket easing the muscles of your shoulders, loosening the tension Roman citizens carried from long hours in markets, workshops, or political halls. Here, conversations drift lazily, minds soften, and time stretches in peaceful ripples. Tonight, you are simply part of that quiet rhythm, floating between warmth, silence, and the promise of deeper rest ahead. Eventually, a bath attendant gestures toward the next chamber, the caldarium, the hot room where steam swirls in thick, luxurious clouds. As you enter, the heat blooms fully, enveloping every inch of your skin, dissolving whatever remains of the day's burdens. Romans believed that sweating was a way to purge not only impurities, but weariness from the spirit. Some rub scented oils onto their arms and chests, olive oil infused with herbs like lavender, rosemary, or myrtle, letting the fragrance rise gently in the warm air. An attendant lightly scrapes your skin with a strigil, a curved bronze tool used to clean the body, and though the movement is simple, it feels like shedding old thoughts, old aches, old heaviness. For a moment, the world holds no haste. No obligations. Your breath moves slowly, evenly, blending with the soft echo of dripping water and the distant crackle of flames beneath the floor. After enough time, when your body is warm and limber like wax, you rise and step back into the cooler chamber, your heartbeat steady and slow. This transition, heat to coolness, heaviness to lightness, is one the Romans deeply honored. It signals that the day is releasing its hold on you, and the night is ready to welcome you gently. From the baths, you make your way into a quiet courtyard where the air feels fresh against your still warm skin. A soft breeze carries the scent of cypress and damp stone, and somewhere nearby, a small fountain trickles with a calming rhythm, steady enough to lull even the busiest mind. Romans ended their bath rituals not abruptly, but with slow unwinding, cleansing their bodies, smoothing their hair, and massaging perfumed oil into their skin. For many, this was a sacred pause between the demands of daytime and the descent toward sleep. You sit on a marble bench, feeling the last warmth of the heated floors fading from your feet, and watch as the sky turns a deep purple above the rooftops. A few late bathers speak in whispers, their words drifting like feathers. Here, you realize, rest was never seen as weakness, it was woven into the fabric of Roman life, an essential ritual that strengthened the mind and nurtured the body. Even those who lived exhausting, labor-heavy lives understood the value of these moments. In the calm glow of the courtyard, with oil on your skin and steam still rising faintly from your hair, you feel yourself drifting into that timeless Roman understanding, that rest, when honored, becomes something sacred. As night fully settles over the city, lanterns flicker along the streets, guiding you back from the bathhouse toward your quarters. Your body feels lighter, not in a fleeting way, but with the deep looseness that comes after warmth, cleansing, and softness have worked their quiet alchemy. Romans often finished their evening rituals with small acts meant to invite restful sleep, tying protective charms, lighting a small oil lamp, or whispering a short prayer to Somnus, the gentle god of slumber. You imagine following the same motions, setting your sandals aside, laying out a simple linen blanket, and letting the faint scent of herbs or lingering bath oils fill the darkened room. Outside, the night of ancient Rome is alive with distant footsteps, the soft clack of horse hooves, and the muted hum of taverns closing. But here, in your small, quiet space, the world feels slow and welcoming. You lie down, your body still carrying the warmth of the baths, and breathe in the cool air drifting through the window. The day has fallen away completely now, washed off in warm water, scraped away with the strigil, softened by fragrant oils. In the stillness, you sense sleep beginning to gather, like a soft cloak settling around you. And with that, the rituals of the Roman night guide you gently toward rest, just as they have done for countless souls across the centuries. As you wander back into the heart of ancient Rome after your evening rituals, the city reveals a gentler side, one softened by torchlight and the quiet murmur of artistry lingering in the air. Even in its busiest districts, Rome never truly slept, it simply shifted tones, easing from clamor into calm, from commerce into contemplation. Art was woven into everyday life here. You pass painted walls where frescoes shimmer faintly in the amber glow, their colors softened by time yet still alive with scenes of gods, landscapes, and mythic tales. Sculptures of marble figures stand like silent companions along the walkways, their forms smooth and cool, cast with shadows that sway softly with the flickering flames. In this dim evening light, they seem almost human, still, patient, timeless. As you move farther, you sense how deeply Romans valued beauty, how much they believed that art was not something reserved for palaces or temples, but something meant to breathe alongside people in their ordinary moments. Tonight, as you slow your steps and let the city's quiet elegance envelop you, you begin to understand why Rome's artists were celebrated. They created not for applause, but to add gentleness to the world, to carve serenity from stone itself. You turn down a narrow alley that opens into a small courtyard, where a group of musicians sits beneath a pergola draped in climbing vines. Their instruments, lyres, flutes, soft drums, rest lightly in their hands, and the melodies they weave drift through the night like threads of silk. The lyre's notes rise and fall softly, filling the space with a warm, shimmering calm. A flute joins in, its breathy tone gliding above the gentle rhythm, evoking images of distant hills, quiet rivers, and gods who walked softly through moonlit groves. This is not a performance meant to entertain a crowd, it is simply an evening ritual, a way for citizens to soothe their minds after a long day. A few listeners sit nearby, leaning against stone pillars or resting on low steps, their eyes half closed as the music washes over them. You settle onto a bench, letting the sound seep into you slowly, loosening whatever fragments of tension remain. The musicians do not rush, they play as if shaping the air itself into softness. And in this moment, surrounded by melody and the faint scent of vine leaves, the city's cultural heartbeat feels calm, gentle, and deeply human. When the music fades into a quiet pause, you rise and continue your walk, drifting into a district known for its workshops and studios. Even at this hour, a few artisans work under lamplight, their motions slow and deliberate. Inside one open doorway, a mosaic artist carefully places tiny glass tiles, building a scene piece by piece, a sea with curling waves, a dolphin arcing gracefully above the foam. The rhythmic click of the tiles settling into plaster has a soothing, meditative quality, like a lullaby made of small sounds. Farther ahead, a poet sits alone on the steps of a columned portico, murmuring lines to himself. His voice is soft, almost lost in the night air, as if he is reciting to the stars rather than to people. Rome's culture thrived in these quiet corners, nourished not just by talent but by devotion, ordinary individuals finding meaning in creation. You pause to watch a potter turning clay on a slow spinning wheel, shaping it with gentle, steady hands. The clay glistens in the lamplight, spinning in smooth circles, its form gradually emerging. There is something calming in the way each artist works, not striving, not hurried, but simply flowing. You feel yourself flowing with them, carried along by the quiet pulse of a city that breathes creativity even in the deep hours of the night. As you make your way toward your lodging, the final traces of the city's cultural life follow you like soft echoes. A distant lyre string plucks once more, a faint chant rises from a small temple, and the low murmur of storytellers sharing myths near the marketplace drifts on the breeze. Stories were the lifeblood of Rome, tales of heroes, gods, city founders, and everyday souls who overcame impossible trials. You imagine yourself sitting among those storytellers, wrapped in a light cloak, listening as tales unfold with slow, soothing cadence. Every word, every gesture is meant not to excite but to comfort, guiding listeners gently toward the serenity of night. Art, music, poetry, and stories all served the same purpose here. They reminded Romans of the beauty woven into their world, even amidst chaos and labor. As you finally reach your doorway, a peaceful stillness settles around you. The culture of the city lingers in your senses, the colors of frescoes, the softness of music, the gentle rhythm of artisans at work, the warm hum of shared stories. You step inside, feeling enriched not by grand spectacles but by the quiet artistry of a city that hums with creativity after sunset. In this softened night, the Rome around you becomes a cradle of calm, carrying you slowly, tenderly, toward rest. Night has settled fully over ancient Rome, but beyond the buzz of taverns and the glow of bathhouses lies another world, quieter, softer, and touched by nature's calming hand. You step beyond the city's stone embrace and into the tranquil outskirts, where gardens stretch like woven carpets of green beneath the moonlight. The air grows cooler here, washed with the scents of rosemary, mint, and blossoming herbs cultivated in tidy rows. Wealthy Roman villas often kept sprawling gardens, not for display, but as sanctuaries where the mind could wander freely. As you walk along a gravel path, your sandals brushing lightly against the stones, you hear only the faint rustling of leaves stirred by a gentle breeze. Lanterns set along the walkway glow dimly, their flames soft and golden, casting shifting shadows that dance over trimmed hedges and flowering shrubs. A small fountain sings nearby, its water falling rhythmically into a marble basin, a steady lullaby for anyone seeking solace. Here, Rome feels far away. The noise of markets, the heat of streets, even the bright murals and busy alleys fade to nothing. In this hushed, fragrant haven, you feel your breath deepen and your thoughts slow, matching the quiet cadence of the night. It is a place built for wandering, with the body, with the mind, with the spirit, and tonight, you give yourself to its gentle peace. Beyond the herb gardens lies a larger expanse, a place where fruit trees stand in graceful lines, their branches heavy with figs, olives, and ripening apples. The moonlight glints faintly across the rounded fruit, giving them a soft silver sheen. Romans believed that tending to plants brought clarity and steadiness to the mind, and walking among them after sunset was thought to invite restorative calm. You move slowly between the trees, brushing your fingertips lightly along rough bark and cool leaves. The earth beneath your feet is soft, and the faint scent of soil mingles with the sweetness of blooming flowers. To your left, a gardener finishes his final tasks of the day, carrying a small clay lamp that flickers warmly against the darkness. He nods quietly, recognizing in you the simple desire to unwind, then continues toward a shed at the far end of the grove. In this stillness, the world feels tender, like nature itself has lowered its voice to a whisper, speaking only in rustles, fragrances, and the occasional hoot of a distant owl. You pause beside a fig tree, reach up, and gently press your hand against one of its large, soft leaves. The touch grounds you, reminding you that rest is not something one must chase. Sometimes it simply waits, patiently, in places like this. The garden becomes a kind of companion, steady and watchful, guiding you deeper into its calm embrace. A narrow path leads you from the gardens toward the vineyards, where rows of grapevines stretch across gentle hills, their silhouettes forming delicate patterns against the night sky. The vineyards carry their own lullaby, one woven from the light rustle of vines, the distant chirping of crickets, and the slow cooling of the earth after the day's warmth. Romans cherished vineyards not only for wine, but for the quiet order they offered, rows upon rows of plants growing with patient purpose, marking the passing of seasons. As you walk between the vines, your fingertips trail along twisted stems, feeling the textured knots and smooth clusters of grapes beneath the leaves. The fruit glimmers softly in the moonlight, each cluster heavy and cool, its sweetness sealed away until harvest. A gentle breeze moves through the vineyard, carrying with it the faint, earthy scent of grape leaves and damp soil. You pause on a small rise where the view opens, allowing you to see the rolling pattern of the vineyard stretching far beyond the lantern-lit villa. Under the star-speckled sky, the land seems to breathe in slow, rhythmic waves, and you find yourself breathing with it. The vineyard feels timeless, untouched by the noise of city life. Here, under the sweep of the night sky, you feel both very small and deeply connected, to the earth, to the gentle rhythms of nature, and to the age-old human desire for peace. As you continue your slow walk toward the end of the vineyard, the sounds of the night grow even softer, fading into a serene hum that surrounds you like a blanket. A small wooden bench rests beneath a trellis woven with climbing vines, their leaves creating a natural canopy above you. You sit, letting the cool night air brush against your skin, and gaze at the stars through the loose pattern of leaves. Romans often came to their gardens and vineyards to reflect, to breathe, and to let their minds drift into a restful space before sleep. You follow their tradition now, allowing your senses to quiet one by one, the touch of the air, the scent of earth and grapes, the distant murmur of water from the garden's fountain. Everything works together like a gentle ritual meant to ease you toward stillness. As you rise and make your way back along the moonlit path, the vineyard slowly disappears behind you, but the calm it gave you stays warm in your chest, like a lantern carried within. By the time you return to the edge of the villa's grounds, your thoughts have softened, your steps have slowed, and the night feels like an old friend guiding you toward rest. Wrapped in a peace of gardens and vines, you walk back into the quiet embrace of Roman night, lighter, calmer, ready for sleep. As the quiet Roman night stretches deeper, you drift back toward the city's gentler corners, where lanterns glow softly beside humble doorways and the lives of everyday people unfold at an unhurried pace. The grand temples and bustling forums may define Rome's power, but it is in these quieter streets that the city's heart truly beats. Small homes with open windows release soft whispers of conversation, murmured laughter, and the clinking of simple clay cups. You pass a family gathered outside their doorway, finishing their modest evening meal. A mother sits weaving, her fingers moving with the steady patience of someone who has done this her whole life. Her children lean against her side, drowsy and content, while the father hums a simple tune, one passed down through generations, meant to settle restless minds before sleep. A stray cat wins between their legs, hoping for a scrap of food. They pay you no mind, to them, you are simply another traveler taking in the night. Yet their presence fills the street with warmth. Their life is ordinary, but their peace is profound. In their quiet companionship, in the soft rhythm of domestic tasks and gentle voices, you sense a truth often overlooked, that the real Rome is built not only by emperors and warriors, but by people who end their days like this, together, unguarded, content in the simplicity of being. A little farther along, you find an elderly man sitting on a wooden stool outside his workshop. The faint glow of his lantern illuminates his face, lined, weathered, and softened by years of living. He is a cobbler, and though his tools are neatly arranged beside him, he has finished work for the day. Now, He simply sits and watches the street, his mind drifting like the breeze that lifts the corner of his tunic. When you pause near him, he offers a gentle nod, the kind worn by someone who has seen thousands of nights just like this. He tells you a small story, spoken in a slow, thoughtful cadence. How he once learned his craft from his father, how he raised his children in this same street, how he has watched the city grow noisier yet somehow stay the same. His words flow like water over smooth stones, quiet, steady, comforting. He speaks not of triumphs or tragedies, but of routines, the familiar smell of leather, the comfort of repetition, the joy of seeing a child run in new sandals he stitched himself. When he finishes, he smiles faintly, as though placing the story gently into your hands. And you realize that these simple tales, lived quietly and without grandeur, are what bind generations together. They are the soft threads of Rome's tapestry, the unnoticed yet enduring stories of people who shaped the city quietly, one small moment at a time. You continue walking and soon find a small gathering near a fountain where a group of neighbors share stories before sleep. Among them is a young woman who works as a potter's apprentice. She carries the scent of clay on her skin and dust on her sleeves, and when she speaks, her voice holds the enthusiasm of someone discovering her place in the world. She tells a tale of an old pot she restored, a vessel chipped and worn, yet precious to the family who brought it to her workshop. As she recounts the process of repairing it, you sense her pride in giving something broken a new life. Another person chimes in, a fish seller from the market, sharing a gentle, humorous story about a customer who tried to bargain with him using compliments instead of coins. The group laughs softly, the kind of laughter that floats lightly into the night without disturbing its stillness. Each person speaks in turn, not in competition but in companionship, their stories weaving together like strands of a delicate tapestry. You sit with them for a while, letting the rhythm of their words lull you. Their tales are small, everyday moments, funny glimpses, tender memories, little triumphs. Yet these are the stories that reveal the warmth of the city's people, the kindness that lives beneath Rome's grand facade. Listening, you feel cradled in the gentle pulse of community, of voices sharing light even in the late hours. As the gathering disperses and the fountain's murmuring once again becomes the loudest sound in the street, you make your way toward the quiet stretch of road leading back to your lodging. Along the path, you pass one last scene, a young couple seated on the steps of a modest shrine. The woman leans her head softly against her partner's shoulder, and their hands rest gently intertwined. They speak in low whispers, hopes for the future, worries about the coming year, dreams of a small home outside the city where they might grow figs and raise children. Their voices carry the tenderness of two people who have found comfort in each other's presence, despite the vastness and unpredictability of the world around them. For a moment, you pause, letting their warmth settle around you like a soft blanket. And you realize that the life of Rome, its true beating heart, is made up of these moments. Not battles, not politics, not grand processions, but quiet human stories. Ordinary people living ordinary days, each adding something gentle to the night. As you finally step into the stillness of your sleeping quarters, these stories accompany you, like soft lanterns glowing in the darkness, guiding you toward rest. In their company, Rome becomes not just a city of stone and history, but a place of humanity, calm, warm, and endlessly alive in its people. As evening drapes itself across the Bay of Naples, you find yourself walking through the ancient streets of Pompeii, a city once vibrant, now suspended in a moment of history that feels both distant and strangely intimate. The sun slips behind Mount Vesuvius, painting the sky with soft strokes of rose, amber, and lavender. Shadows stretch across the stone-paved roads, their edges softened by the warm glow of oil lamps flickering outside homes and small shops. The air carries the scent of the sea mixed with faint traces of baked bread drifting from kitchens winding down for the night. Pompeii, unlike bustling Rome, moves at a gentler rhythm, its people known for their love of gardens, open courtyards, and long conversations that spilled lazily into the dusk. You walk slowly past painted walls whose colors still whisper of stories, mythic beasts, dancing figures, golden fruit that once glimmered under the Mediterranean sun. Even as the sky dims, these frescoes seem to glow with their own quiet life. The city feels like a living memory, a place where every stone is warm with the touch of countless footsteps, and every doorway hints at the daily joys of those who once called Pompeii home. In this soft twilight, the city breathes peacefully around you. You turn onto a quieter lane where small domus houses nestle close together, their entrances framed with garlands or simple clay lanterns. Families gather in their atria, the central courtyards open to the sky, where evening light filters gently down onto mosaic floors. You pause beside one home where a mother finishes laying out dinner, bread, olives, roasted vegetables, while her children chase each other in a quiet game around the central rainwater pool. The father sits nearby polishing a bronze cup, humming a familiar tune. The warmth of domestic life glows from within these walls, reminding you that Pompeii was above all a community built on simple joys, shared meals, neighborly conversations, gardens overflowing with herbs and flowers. A soft breeze drifts through the street, carrying the scent of warm stone and ripe figs. You hear laughter, low and unhurried, and the gentle splash of water as someone fills a jug for the night. Life here feels smaller, closer, and gentler than in Rome, humans living with the rhythms of nature, the setting sun signaling the time to gather, rest, and reflect. As you continue your walk, you feel those rhythms beginning to settle around you like a soft blanket, guiding your steps deeper into the heart of Pompeii's twilight. As you approach the Forum, the heart of the city, the last golden light spills across its open expanse. Merchants are closing their stalls, tying cloth coverings and sweeping the day's dust from their workspaces. A potter carefully moves his wares inside, each piece glowing faintly in the fading light, bowls, jugs, lamps, all shaped with quiet devotion. Fruit sellers tuck leftover figs into baskets to bring home, while a pair of friends walk arm in arm, discussing nothing urgent at all. The grand columns surrounding the forum cast long, dramatic shadows, softened by the coming night. You pause by the Temple of Apollo, where musicians sometimes gather. This evening, two young performers sit on the steps, sharing a simple melody on flute and lyre. Their notes float gently into the dusk, calming, airy, like wind brushing over tall grass. A few passers-by linger nearby, heads tilted slightly as they let the music wash over them. Even the stray dog seems soothed, curled peacefully beside the column bases. In this moment, the forum feels less like a place of commerce and more like a sanctuary, a space where the city exhales, where the voices fade into whispers, and where everything seems to slow to a peaceful pulse. You stand in that calm, letting the music and the fading light melt softly around you. Night deepens now, wrapping Pompeii in a cool, gentle stillness. You walk toward the city's edge, where vineyards and small farms stretch into the dark, their shapes soft beneath the rising moon. Lamps glow from villa windows, casting warm squares of light onto garden walls. Far off, Mount Vesuvius rises in silhouette, quiet, serene, its presence familiar and comforting to the people who live here. To them, it is a guardian watching over their city. You stop at a small bench overlooking a cluster of homes. Couples speak in low tones on balconies, children drift toward sleep, and the distant sound of a single flute continues to float through the air like a lullaby. Everything feels suspended in harmony, the city, the sea, the mountain, the night. Standing there, you sense how dearly Pompeii held its evenings, moments to rest, to talk, to breathe in the tranquility before sleep. As you make your way back along the moonlit street, the warmth of lamps, the gentle stories of the people, and the quiet embrace of the city settle into your chest. Pompeii at night feels like a world resting in your palms, peaceful, alive, and timeless. And as you return to your room and settle beneath a light blanket, you carry with you the soft stillness of this ancient place, letting it guide you slowly, gently, into sleep. The night before the eruption begins like any other in Pompeii, calm, fragrant, and wrapped in the soft hush of a coastal evening. You walk through the dimly lit streets, noticing nothing unusual at first, only the familiar warmth of a city settling into rest. Oil lamps flicker gently in windows, casting amber halos onto the stone pavements. The air carries a sweet mixture of grapevines, fresh bread cooling on wooden tables, and the faint salt of the nearby sea. Families have already retreated indoors, their voices drifting in soft murmurs behind half-closed doors. A dog curls near a doorway, tail resting still, breathing slowly as it slides into sleep. Above you, the sky spreads wide and velvety, dotted with stars that glimmer like gentle eyes watching over the tired city. Even Mount Vesuvius, towering silently in the distance, seems serene, a dark, familiar silhouette rising against the horizon. Tonight feels restful, calm, the kind of night when the world seems to exhale and everything sinks into a peaceful rhythm. No one senses the tremors that faintly ripple through the ground, too subtle, too gentle to draw attention. The city simply breathes, unaware that this quiet night carries the weight of history poised on the edge of dawn. As you stroll farther, you pass through the residential quarters where late-night activities continue in small, comforting pockets. A baker finishes shaping dough for the morning's bread, his hands moving with steady familiarity, unaware that this will be his final batch. A pair of friends sit outside their home sharing the last sips of wine, speaking in soft tones about the vineyard's harvest and the colors of the evening sky. They laugh quietly, leaning back to admire the stars. A young woman waters her plants by the doorway, humming a tune as she sprinkles droplets across the leaves. These moments play out like gentle scenes, small and intimate, the threads of a normal night. Occasionally a faint, almost imperceptible rumble vibrates beneath the stones, causing a lantern to sway slightly or a cup to tremble on a tabletop. But the vibrations are dismissed. Pompeii has felt such quivers before, harmless reminders of the mountain they live beneath. Life carries on with its usual tenderness, neighbors calling goodnight across narrow lanes, shutters closing softly, stray cats slipping into warm corners to sleep. Nothing about the night reveals the magnitude of what waits in the morning. Everything remains peaceful, unaware, wrapped in the illusion of everlasting calm. You walk toward the Forum once more, where silence has taken hold, broken only by the soft echo of your footsteps. The grand columns, bathed in moonlight, stand tall and tranquil, their shadows long and serene across the empty square. Earlier, this space buzzed with life, merchants closing stalls, children laughing, musicians sharing melodies. Now it rests in total stillness, like a great heart paused between breaths. A gentle breeze sweeps through the arches, carrying with it the scent of cooled earth and distant waves. Vesuvius looms closer here, and for a moment you sense the mountain's presence more keenly, a quiet giant, its dark outline merging into the night sky. A faint warmth seems to pulse from its slopes, but it is so subtle, so mild, that it feels like nothing more than the lingering heat of the day. You pause by a fountain, listening to the steady trickle of water, a comforting rhythm that echoes softly through the square. Even the animals move quietly tonight, birds nestle deep in their roosts, dogs lying in restful bundles, and insects humming in slow, gentle patterns. The city seems to float in a fragile cradle of silence, unaware that history is holding its breath. You remain there for a moment longer, letting the stillness soak into your chest before continuing your walk into the outskirts. Near the edge of the city, vineyards stretch beneath the glow of the rising moon, their leaves whispering softly as the night breeze passes through. Farmers have finished their work hours ago, leaving baskets half-filled and tools resting neatly beside stone walls. The land feels peaceful, almost sacred, as though nature itself is preparing for sleep. You stand at a small overlook where the entire city lies before you, lamps twinkling like stars resting upon the earth, roofs glowing softly beneath the silver sky, the mountain watching silently behind it all. From this distance, Pompeii appears suspended in a perfect moment, untouched by worry or fear. The faint tremors continue, but gently, like a heartbeat you barely notice. You breathe in deeply, the scent of grapes, soil, and night air mingling into a calm that settles easily into your body. Everything feels timeless, as though this quiet will last forever. And yet somewhere beneath the mountain, something stirs, an awakening that no one here can sense. But for now, in this last peaceful hour before dawn, Pompeii sleeps. Its people rest under warm blankets, its streets lie still under moonlit silence, and its gardens cradle the night like a lullaby. As you turn back toward your room, the quiet wraps around you, soft and protective, unaware that the world is about to change. And in that gentle, unaware silence, you too drift toward rest. As the final quiet veil of night settles over ancient Pompeii, allow yourself to settle as well. You've wandered its bustling markets, felt the warmth of its baths, listened to its music, and walked alongside its people under a sky untouched by the knowledge of what tomorrow brings. Now, in this last chapter, the journey softens into something gentler, a slow drifting into a peaceful inner landscape, where the ancient world fades into a dream carried by your breath. Take a slow inhale, and let it ease out. You're safe. You're calm. You're ready to rest.